Shazia,
Thank
welcome to
you.
our show. We're very happy to have you.
Likewise, I am too. Thank you so much for having me and for getting this idea out. Lovely to see you both.
Thank
Lovely
you.
to see you too.
Same here.
Acha, for the audience, salam alaikum to everyone from all three of
Vale.
us. And welcome to the show. आज हम आपके लिए एक बहुत interesting, बहुत accomplished, बहुत experienced educator लाए हैं जिसको हम लोग educationist भी कहते हैं पाकिस्तान में और वो हैं शाजिया शहबाज। शाजिया शहबाज पाकिस्तानी origin की Canadian हैं, कनाडा में रहती हैं, born and raised in Pakistan, like all of us right now. And her accomplishments in Canada after she left Pakistan and settled there are amazing. And we have specially brought her on ताकि वो अपनी stories हमारे साथ share करें, अपने experiences, अपने जो challenges उन्होंने face किए हैं, and how she overcame challenges to get to where she is. So let me just very quickly introduce you, Shazia, and then we will have you share your experiences with the audience.
Okay.
So Shazia is an educationist who is specializing in Montessori education. She is currently the director of education and also the owner at Great Lakes Montessori in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
She is an experienced teacher. She's been teaching since 93, last century. And after moving to Canada, she started her own Montessori school in 2016. And now she has two schools. She started another one in 2019, which is so impressive and so amazing. She is trained in Montessori education. She has her ECE and Montessori diploma. And as I said, she's originally from Pakistan. And that's why she's here, ताकि वो आप लोगों को inspire करें और आप लोग कुछ सीखें उनसे कि वो यहाँ कैसे पहुंची हैं और क्या उनकी accomplishments हैं. तो Shazia, I'll begin by asking you कि moving all the way from Pakistan to Canada, and then now being in this current leadership position as a woman where you own the schools, where you're the director, you're running them after a long career of teaching. So how did you get here? And if you can just tell us.
Yeah. So how did I get here? That's a very good question, Sadia. How did I get here is, I think mostly it is because this was what I like to do. I have been teaching, as you said, for a long time, but in different schools, some in Pakistan, and then came to Canada, and many different schools and daycares over here as well. Montessori, why why am I more inclined towards Montessori and not any other kind of education system is because I just found in Pakistan when I was very young and my son was born, everybody said, you should send your child to a Montessori school. And I'm like, okay. So, and there weren't many Montessoris back in Pakistan at that time in
Right.
Lahore. So there was one Montessori in Gulberg, and that's where I sent my son, and I liked it so much. And I'm like, this is such a wonderful way of working with children of in their early years and all that. So yeah, and then my daughter also went there for a little bit, and then we moved to Canada later in our lives. But so that's where it started from. I'm like, this is something that I like to do, and I want to do it on a bigger scale. So when you move to a different country, it's a very challenging thing, as you just said. It's not easy. Being in a place where the language is not as much of a barrier, but other than that, the environment is new. There's different people. You don't have your relatives, your same friends to lean back on. So it was very hard. Yes, it was in the beginning, but I think it worked well with us. We had some family here, and it was a big blessing. And I keep saying that it was a big blessing at that time that we had that family and that helped us settle here easier. And so having done that, working in different schools, and eventually there was just one school that I worked in, and I worked there for 6 good years. here in Toronto. And that's when I decided, you know what, I want to have my own, a small place where I can do this better than anybody else is doing. That
Right.
was my whole idea, to tell you
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I just wanted to do it a little bit better than anybody else was doing around. And I think, I don't know, I am doing it better than anybody else or not. I really don't know. And I think each day is a new day, and each day we learn and we make ourselves better. We make our programs better for the children. But at least I'm trying towards that. And
Yeah.
that was the whole passion. That was the whole thing that just drove me into opening my own, to do it better than anybody else. Simple as
Do
Mm-hmm.
you
that.
think the way you are doing here, is it the same way as it was in Lahore? You seen there, or are you doing anything better than that? Like
Lahore
for
is, yeah,
uh,
thank you for that question again. Lahore was a different experience, Sameera. Lahore, I was working, as you see in different, in the bio that I sent to Saadia earlier, in different schools. Working in Lahore is very different. I don't know now. I've been out of Lahore for a long time, especially
no, I
from
mean
schools
the
and
setup
stuff.
of the like the school, like the Montessori,
Yeah,
like the early stage of the kids. Like how do you make? I think is different from that time. What you are doing now.
yeah, it is very different. What I'm doing now in Lahore, when I used to work in those schools, I feel that the rules and regulations as imposed by the government, there is a ministry. I know I've never been in in touch with Ministry of Education in Pakistan per
Right.
se.
Right.
But
Right.
what I saw back there in Lahore when I
Mm-hmm.
was working there, I find that there are many things that can be improved in that age group. But I'm working right now, which is 18 months to
Right.
6 years. I find that there's tons of things that we can do better there. Because now I'm working here. When you work in a school or when you open your own, you're
Mm.
in close contact with the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health and whatnot. So I find that there's so many things that they do here which can be and should be implemented there as well, which will be beneficial for the parents, for the children in general, and for the
Mm-hmm.
staff, for everybody.
So
Right.
would you
Right.
like your nursery like want to be affiliated with something in Pakistan? With some
Sorry.
Montessori there, so you can teach them your teachings there, what you're doing here.
Um, you mean to say, to point out the differences? Sorry, I
I know.
didn't
I mean, would you like to affiliate your Montessori to some place
Oh,
in?
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would, I mean, this is a very expensive suggestion, just to what you just said. But if I'm able to do that, to have a
Mm,
simpler setup there, that would be an amazing thing. And
Okay.
that would be an amazing thing for me to have a
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
similar setup over there. But then I'll have
Mm.
to live there. But then I have to
yeah.
live there because as I see myself, when I opened this first school, I'm sitting here, I'm here literally 8 to sometimes longer. Sometimes I go home early, but in the beginning, I was here almost full day. And there's a certain standard that, I want to see affiliated with Great Lakes Montessori or myself. And if I want to keep that standard back home, then yes, I would like to be there, to be running it personally. I don't think
Right.
I am
Right.
at that age to do that anymore, but yeah.
No,
The
you
way
forever
it should
young,
be.
Shazia.
Okay, thank you to
Uh,
say for
I
Sadia.
just, Shazia, if
Because
you could
बच्चों
tell
की तो
us,
upbringing में है, like the early stage, that's the main thing. When they start like preschool and then they
right,
get into the
right.
school, that's the main thing. Yeah.
Samira,
The early-
let's find out if Shazia, like more about her school. So, Shazia, if you could share how many students you have, like kids, and how many teachers you have
Teachers.
in these two schools, and the setup, because many people may not be very familiar, especially Pakistanis, with the Montessori method
Mm.
of education. So, if you can just tell us a little bit about why people should be interested in sending their children to these schools.
to a Montessori school. Okay,
Yes.
so let me just say that one thing before I go on is that now that I've joined in one of the Facebook groups, which is a Montessori actually council in Pakistan. I think they're
Hmm.
Karachi based, and I think now
Right.
there are more Montessoris in Pakistan
There
than,
are.
yeah, than back then when I
Yes.
was raising my kids. So
Yes.
I think people are. They know more about Montessori there now,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how they're running it. That's a separate, different,
Yeah.
absolutely separate question.
Mm.
But I do, from that Facebook page, the information that I get, I feel that people know more about Montessori now, and they are more inclined towards it in Pakistan. And as far as my own school and everything else is concerned, we'll talk about it in a little bit. But yeah, so they're more inclined. The main difference, in my opinion, between a Montessori teaching from age 18 months to 6 years and a regular daycare. So again, the thing is, in Pakistan, we never had daycares before,
Right.
right? We used to
Yes.
people used to get nannies, and of course, forget about nannies. We had our our children's
Grandparents,
grandparents to
yeah.
take care of, and
Yeah.
that's the most beautiful thing ever. I over here still, if parents come up and for registration, and if they say that we want to start in a certain month because we want our child to spend some time with their grandparents, my thing to them is always, you know what? Yes, you should definitely do that. Do not bring your child to school till if you have that facility, or if you have your parents at home, because that's the best. That's the best institution ever that the child learns from, right? From their grandparents.
Right.
So having said that, Pakistan's whole thing is still not much inclined towards daycares. So that's why you
True.
won't see too many children in school at the age of, let's say, 2.5 or 3 or even 4. They only bring their kids to school at the age of 5, I believe. So they
Yeah.
start
No,
at
they
5.
have
Again, I've been out of.
early age schools. They have, but like mostly they are
Preschools.
private schools. So that,
Hmm.
like very important questions. Your Montessori's, are they run privately or you get like government funded as well, as we have here in UK? Like we
We
have.
are a Yeah, we are a privately owned, is a non for-profit institution. But the thing is that the government has certain, how do you say it, certain grants or certain,
Yeah.
they do give out, and then they check if we qualify for that. If we do, then of course we get it. If we don't, then we don't get it. But yeah, we are privately owned, not completely governed by the government, but here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, right, true. Okay.
So, Shazia, how many students, how
So
many
yeah, coming
staff?
back to your
Right.
question about, so I just quickly wanted to finish up the thing that I was talking about, the Montessori and the
Please.
daycare,
Gigi.
because again, in Pakistan, the need for this age group care is not much because of the fact of the things that we discussed earlier. Uh, so that's why the development of a child over there in a school really starts from the age of 4 or 5, and
Right.
not, this is what I know. If I'm wrong,
Right.
please correct me, because I have been out of Pakistan for a while. But this is what I know from my relatives and the family, the other friends
Yeah.
that I have there. That usually they start from the age of 4 and 5. Now,
That's
having
correct.
said that, because they do that, and the reasons that we discussed before, that why we don't have children going to the schools and places like or a Montessori school as early as 2.5, is because we have help there. But it is
True.
very helpful for the children. I tell you, even in Pakistan, if they spend even a half day in such institution, and then yes, they can spend the rest of the time with their grandparents and with their other family. They need,
Right.
even at the age of 2.5, if there are places in Pakistan where when parents can send their children, it's not education. They're not going to learn ABCs or 1, 2, 3s, but they're going to learn independence. They're going to learn to able to take care of themselves, to take care of their environment, to be able to put their shoes on by themselves. Small,
Yes.
tiny things that we don't even think are important is what we need. This is what it's not just knowing how to put your shoes on. It's about their ego. We're developing their ego
Yes.
as we are teaching them these things. So as opposed to a 4-year-old child in Pakistan, the shoes are being put on by a nanny or a dad or mama. So these are important things. We don't realize them that they're important, but first 5 years of a child's life are so important, and it is so important that we focus on their development, that they develop independently as a child, as a human being, not as someone who is constantly looking for help and looking for assistance. Okay, who's going to help me with my bottle of milk or my
Absolutely.
water bottle? So I don't think this will happen in Pakistan. Parents will never send their kids as early as 5 or 3. Big reasons being, again, because the labor is so cheap there. It's easier to hire a nanny and other than to get up right at 7 a.m. and drop your kids at a place where somebody can take care of them. But as more women come out to work, we might see more of this happening.
Yeah.
That will be a great thing to see in Pakistan, where our women force is coming out of their homes and they need help for their children to send them to a daycare or a Montessori school. So
वैसे
this is
बहुत
my
फर्क पड़ता है बच्चे को स्कूल दरसिया भेजते हो जो वर्किंग मम्स के लिए सो द किड्स गेट ऑर्गेनाइज इधर जैसे
yeah.
इधर भी है हाँ तो उनको पता है इस टाइम उठना है इस टाइम यू हैव टू ईट इस टाइम यू हैव टू ब्रश योर टीथ डू थिंग्स लाइक दैट तो फिर माँ के लिए भी इजी हो जाता है
बिल्कुल children we don't know that we don't I mean मुझे भी नहीं पता था to tell you very honestly I'm not gonna lie when I raised my kids I raised them exactly the same way which I don't like now and but what can you do what can you do but now at least I can step up and say that this is the right way to do it. I mean even if you're home 2.5 till 2.5 till 3, yes, if you can be home with your child, that's an ideal situation, you should be. But if after that I think children need that little bit of time for themselves or their own space. And children crave, as you just said, Sameera, that children to get up early in the morning and all that. Children crave schedules. We feel that,
Structure.
the child's a structure. We feel that child can go to sleep at 10 p.m. at night and, it's okay. No, it's not okay. They
Yeah.
need to be sleeping at a certain time. They need to get up at a certain. They need that structure. It's it's very important for their development.
It's true when
So,
they start nursery properly फिर वो माँ के साथ इतने अटैच होते हैं कि they just cry over there
yeah,
because
yeah,
मेरे अपने साथ when I never used to work उस टाइम
yeah,
ऐसे होता था बच्चे स्कूल छोड़ के आए तो they've been crying clinging to you तो नहीं जाओ अब माँ को भी हो रहा है but it's very good कि आप बच्चे को और अपने आप को वो space देते हो so the
yeah,
kid can learn कि
yeah,
उसको कैसे
absolutely.
जाना है फिर वो जब proper स्कूल में जाता है तो फिर he is more confident कि वो क्या कर रहा है
Absolutely, you nailed it. Yes, you're absolutely right, Samir. And so coming back to your question, Saadia, about the number of children and the staff and all that, we have 23 staff in total and over 100 students. And again,
Mashallah.
ages, mashallah, shukr, alhamdulillah, and ages ranging from, again, 18 months to 6 years.
Right.
nice
Right. Acha, you started as a teacher initially, right? Like
Yes.
your passion was teaching. And how has this been? ये जो shift है आपका from teaching to administration? Because you were telling me a little while ago कि आप अब teaching नहीं करते इतनी you're more into the administration side of it because you have 2 huge schools to run. So how has this change made you feel? And do you miss teaching?
I miss teaching big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And because I like teaching, first of all, the passion for me is not teaching, it's the children.
Right. Yeah.
The passion for me is children. And I feel that anybody who is in this field where I am, even if you're sitting in an admin position, you need to have that passion to be able to do it right. If I was in an admin position in another school and not my own, like working for someone else, because I have that in me, I think I would have still done the same things that I'm doing for my own self. I think I would have done. I'm pretty sure I would have. And the shift happened mostly because I just wanted to do it my way. I just wanted to do it the way that I felt it should be done, with the children and the staff and everything. I was a staff myself, right? And I felt that there were many things that should not be handled the way they were handled. And I'm like, this is not the right place for me to work. I need to have a place where I work with my staff like a family, and this is what we are here. And they come in, they're happy. They should come to work happy. They should leave work happy, because if they are not happy, the kids are not going to be happy, and they're not going to be learning anything.
So true. Yeah.
And one more question, like how was your work during COVID times when we had lockdowns and everything?
Yes, big question. Yes, and you know what? We stepped up to that challenge full time. What we did was that we were closed in Canada. We were asked, everything closed down March of 2020, right?
Right.
So when we closed, everything was closed, right? So then I remember it was March 15th or 16th that they said that, all the schools and everything is closing down. After 1 week of that, I believe, again, I don't remember the date, but after 1 week of that, we started our online classes. So we switched to
True.
online. It was an amazing experience. Again, hats off to the staff that I have. They did an amazing job with the
Very
online.
nice.
We did the same thing. We had the online classes running from 9 till, I believe, 3:30. And they were like 4 class. Now, having said that, we are dealing with such young age group. It was not easy. It was very hard because
Right. Yeah.
concentration span is that of an ant. So they would not sit still
For
for
the
the Zoom lessons, right? They wouldn't sit still. So we had to shorten the lessons. We had like, I believe, again, I don't remember exactly, but I think the max was 30 minutes, and then then
Okay.
gave them a break for 15 minutes, then came back again. It was beautiful. We
Yeah.
loved it. Parents absolutely loved it. We did
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
at a very minimal cost, which was another thing that they liked about it. We did not charge
Right.
them for.
Yeah,
And
that's what I wanted to ask.
yeah, no, and believe me, that's another one of my big passion is that to have this
Yeah.
Montessori education very accessible to to everybody
So
in
this is a
Canada.
very good point for Pakistani Montessori
Yeah,
because they've been charging them very high fees and we will put your
exactly,
name out.
Yeah.
And it was like
exactly.
chaos for the parents because parents की भी jobs मतलब खतरे में थी
What
सब
can they
लोग घर
do?
में थे and then they were just like saying आपने deposit दिया है that will go waste if you don't pay the fee. So but this is a very good point अगर आप उनको ये कोई message दें so they should learn अपने
मैं
लिए
आपको एक
कि
छोटा सा मैसेज, यू आर एब्सोल्यूट राइट समेरा, और छोटा सा मैसेज ये है कि जब आपका कॉन्शियस ना क्लियर हो ना कि आपने एक पेरेंट से लेट से 100 रुपया लिया है, मुझे पता नहीं कितना है, मैं 100 रुपया तो बहुत छोटी चीज है, बट आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल। आपने एक पेरेंट से 100 रुपया लिया है बच्चे का कि भाई 8 से 3 बजे तक मेरा बच्चा आपके पास होगा, और अगर आप वो सर्विस नहीं प्रोवाइड कर रहे तो सवाल ही नहीं पैदा होता कि आपका कॉन्शियस क्लियर हो कि आप वो 100 रुपया रख लें और कहें जी ओके बाय बाय। So
बिल्कुल.
first of all, you need to have a clear conscience about that. Okay, if I'm only providing out of those 6 hours, I'm only providing 3 hours of online session or 3 hours of care because of COVID, then I will charge 50 rupees, or I'll charge half. Simple,
Yeah.
because your costs have gone down. All your expense, you're not providing food to the child. You're not providing air conditioning to the child. You're not providing all these things that are included in
बिल्कुल.
our fixed cost. So how can you charge full? How
Yeah.
can you do that? And
Yeah.
and it's not only Pakistan, Sameera. This is the same here. Many
Yes.
schools, they charge the full amount even though they were only providing online classes. And
Yeah.
And what
there
about the
was some.
staff? What about the staff? How did you maintain your staff?
I paid them at that time. I paid them hourly, so that was
Yeah.
very fair. Whatever hour they worked for
Yeah.
with.
That's 0 hour contract.
So
Yeah. I
from
see that.
salary, they went to hourly. They didn't complain about it because it was fair.
Very
You see
nice.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be
Yeah.
fair. I believe that you gotta be fair in your businesses, whether your businesses are with your community, whether your businesses are with children, with your parents, with your adults, with your family, your husband, your children, whatever. You gotta be fair. When you are
True.
fair, then people cannot complain. They should not
Mm.
complain. If you're not fair, then you're gonna get complaints, and it's gonna be a problem.
Shazia, this makes me think that although abhi aap keh rahi thi कि you don't see yourself going to Pakistan, we need people like you back here. Especially जब से मैं visit कर रही हूँ Lahore and I'm here from America, so I keep thinking of all of you people who have left and who are amazing human beings, and look at the integrity with which you're doing what you're doing. तो ये चीजें हमें यहाँ पे लगता है कि बिल्कुल लैकिंग हो रही है, जैसे समीरा भी मेंशन कर रही थी कि यहाँ पर तो दे जस्ट चार्जिंग पीपल विदाउट रियली थिंकिंग कि वो क्या सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, आर पीपल गेटिंग देयर मनीज वर्थ और नॉट. इट्स जस्ट अ रैट रेस ओवर हियर. So I hope that you will consider this. Don't come back permanently if you don't want to. We understand you're a Canadian now, right?
Maybe I'm not
But
a Canadian, I'm a Pakistani. It's the reason
good.
for not coming back. The reason for not coming back is nothing to do, honestly, with me being in Canada and being a Canadian. It's just that now I have settled in here. My children are here.
Yes,
I just,
yes.
my children are here. I can't just leave them, even
Absolutely.
though they are not children. They are like, mashallah, 27 and 24. But
Hmm.
still, for me, they're forever be babies. So it's just that I can't leave their lives here and just go back.
Absolutely.
That's the only
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Acha,
Hmm.
can you tell us a little bit about your life? Because you were raised in Lahore, right? You went to college here, then you were working here in schools before you moved to Canada. So tell us a bit about your experiences here and compare your, let's say, education that you received here with the education that you pursued in Canada, if you can.
Uh-huh. Life in Pakistan was very good. And I think बहुत अच्छी शुक्र अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह पाकिस्तान is the place to be मैं अभी भी यही कहती हूँ
Welcome, welcome.
और हमें उसको बेहतर अगर जो चीजें नहीं है उधर हर जगह में there's some things that are not good.
Hmm.
We are responsible for that. Nobody else is. So we gotta
So
make it
true.
better for ourselves.
Right.
So yeah, the life in Pakistan was very good. It's very good here, and I thank God for both of that. As far as education is concerned, I think I had a very good education. I went to army schools, Saadia. I didn't go to other schools. So I always went to an army school. I went to Azam Garrison school in Lahore. Before that, I was in Garrison school, and after that, they Azam Garrison and Garrison they combined. I was
Right.
there, and
Yes.
I was there. I was there, and then I went to what do you call it? Canadian, of course, and I think it's an amazing institution. With the years that I spent there and things that I learned from there, amazing. I don't think that
Yes.
it is comparable to any college over here.
Absolutely. I
I don't.
agree.
So that's
Right.
all I'm going to say. Really, that is comparable to any college here. The college that I attended for my Montessori diploma was a different kind of college. It wasn't. It's not based in a building. It's based in schools. So where I went was a school that somebody owned, and they gave us the lessons over there because Montessori lessons are usually they revolve around the Montessori material. So that's why they have
Right.
set it up like that.
Right.
So yeah, I would say that our colleges and universities in Lahore and in Pakistan, they're very good. We have very qualified teachers teaching there, and it's amazing. They're comparable, I think, with any college or any university around the world. It's just that that we need to bring it up. We need to show world this is what we are, other than yeah, I know. No comment there. It's gonna get political.
This show can get political,
No,
right,
I'm not
Sameera?
a political person at all. I hate politics. That's one thing
No,
I
but
hate,
it should
politics.
kind of get a little political as well because when, like in our Pakistan, they're like changing the syllabus and stuff. So, this is not right. This is not rational if you think like that. If we are living in an advanced country, we want to make our country flourish and everything. So, we should follow the rules outside as well. So,
Yeah.
we should teach our kids what's happening around. Chalo, abhi they're downsizing the syllabus. Like our times, we were learning everything. Oxford था हमारे सिलेबस जो था जो मेंस कॉलेज मैं सादिया से उस दिन भी बात कर रही थी तो काइंड ऑफ उसको हम पॉलिटिकल सेंस में ही ले आए हैं अभी ये लोग लेकिन वैसे नहीं होना चाहिए मेनली तो देखना गवर्नमेंट को तो उसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट दूसरा होनी चाहिए कि बस एक एजुकेशन पैटर्न होना चाहिए एंड उसको मेक श्योर करना चाहिए कि एवरीबडी इज डूइंग दैट ये नहीं कि इस्लामिक स्टेट है तो उधर इस्लामिक ही सारी चीजें होंगी या उर्दू ही पढ़ाई जाएगी लेकिन वो चीजें जो है अब जैसे आप लोग हैं आपके पास डिफरेंट कम्युनिटीज के बच्चे आते होंगे इंडियन है दूसरी लैंग्वेजेस के हैं तो व्हेन दे कम लाइक दे जस्ट लाइक किड्स बेबीज so they just speak their home language so you make them speak like what they should be speaking in future so it is kind of वही उनकी स्कूलिंग है ना तो अगर हम वो सारी चीजें अपने बच्चों को नहीं सिखाएंगे फिर वो वहां तक कैसे पहुंचेंगे जहां हम लेके आना चाह रहे हैं तो ये काइंड ऑफ दीज थिंग्स हैं इसीलिए मैं आपको कहती कि why don't you affiliate with some Montessori or school in Pakistan so they can learn the ways you are teaching here वो बहुत बड़ा पॉइंट है
बिल्कुल ठीक है यहाँ बहुत बड़ा पॉइंट है लेकिन पाकिस्तान में बिजनेस करना आई डोंट नो पाकिस्तान में बिजनेस करना मेरे जैसा बंदा नहीं सरवाइव करेगा मेरे जैसा बंदा नहीं सरवाइव करेगा
maybe some idea in some way like उनको अपना वे सिखाना उनका थोड़ा बहुत कोई टीचिंग्स है like online we have so many things now So online classes we can like you can arrange with them or something.
So what I think, yeah, you're right. What I think is the education, if you look at the from the point of education, meaning what the children are learning in the classrooms, I cannot, people like me, I don't think we can have a bigger impact on that, because again, as you just said,
आप जो पढ़ा रहे हो ना, उधर टीचर्स को ये चाहिए जो आप कर रहे हो.
Exactly. So I was coming to that point actually. I can't make an impact on what children are learning in Pakistan in their classrooms through their books and through their textbooks. I believe that I cannot do anything about it, because that is not. Nobody will listen to what I'm saying. But yes, on the other hand, teacher training. Teacher training is something that can be provided. But then again, teacher training, when you get a certain kind of training, you need to have a certain place to go apply it. You just can't train people and then expect them to go in their jobs and do that if it's not being applied there. The regulations, the rules, all that have to be according to the teachings, right? So, that's the thing. I'm not saying it's not doable. I mean, I'm nothing. I don't even have that qualification to honestly to go start a teaching training course or something. I believe I don't. But I feel is
but
that this
experience. Experience counts more than the qualification, I think.
100% absolutely right.
Yeah, you've got your life experience there. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Experience, in my opinion as well, experience counts a lot more than anything else. Even though even over here, when I hire my staff, to tell you honestly, they show me a diploma, and my next question is, okay, this is your diploma, but how will you handle this kind of a situation?
Exactly.
How will you deal with this kind of a challenge? Because this is what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in that piece of paper that you show me that you have a diploma. So yes, you're absolutely right that experience counts a lot. I want to make that change. I want to be a part of that change. I cannot make that change on my own. I want to be a part of that change for Pakistan. I think it's already underway. I feel like when I meet young girls and boys from there who are going to colleges and universities, I feel that it's already underway, or it's happening. It's going to take some time. कौमें जो होती हैं वो 50, 60, 70 साल में नहीं बनती. You know,
that's very true.
It takes years for them they just have to be on the right path. That's the important thing. And how we stay on the right path is upon us. It's not upon any government, any person we are going to elect. It's entirely upon our younger generation and, our people. So I really hope, and I pray for them. And I'm like, I want to see, because I am proud to be a Pakistani. And when I say that I'm a Pakistani, I don't even for a second, I'm a Pakistani. No, I say it very proudly. And I want to have that feeling in me till at least I die.
Well, we're very proud that you're a Pakistani, and we're so proud that, you are doing all of this. तो मैं ये जरूर कहना चाहती हूँ, हालांकि अभी थोड़ी देर पहले before we brought Shazia on, she was saying कि इतनी ज़्यादा मेरी तारीफें मत करो. But I'm so impressed. अच्छा सुनो.
That's enough.
What you have displayed are amazing leadership skills. All right. So this is Dr. Saadia talking to you right now. All right.
Okay.
So I'm looking at you very objectively. And what my interest right now is, where do these leadership skills, where do they come from? I know that you develop them over time as well. But going back all the way to your childhood, to your growing up years, was there somebody in your life who inspired you, or an elder in the house, or somebody else, or one of your teachers? So I want you to share that with us.
I think leadership qualities, I didn't know I had them. I did
you
not know.
You always did. You did, always.
Yeah, you said that earlier to me as well. And it was a surprise to me when you said that, because I never thought that I had leadership qualities in me. I only found them out when I started doing this job, and I learned this school, and I learned a lot growing up. Now it's been 2016, 2021, 5 years, over 5 years, where I was a head girl back in school when I was in
yes.
But I don't remember me being but I don't remember me being a leader at that time. I just did what I was asked to do by the teachers,
Hmm.
in an army school, imagine. So that was nice. As far as what in um, where I don't know. I feel my chacha, my youngest chacha, he
Hmm.
used to he used to think that I should be a writer. My dad used to think that I should be a writer.
You used to
Oh,
write well.
No,
तो
no,
फिर
I did I used to read a lot of books. I loved
okay,
reading.
all right.
And
yeah.
now I don't read enough. I think not. I don't read at all. Actually, it's been a
Hmm.
long time since I had a book that I open and But I used to read a lot of books, story books and all kind of books,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for some and I used to write short stories which never got published or anything, but just I used to write them and I used to show them to my this uncle that I'm
Right, right.
uh, he was actually actually now I forgot, never mind. So yeah, so then and I used to show it to my dad, so maybe that's why they thought that I should be a writer.
Hmm.
And I think I got mostly my encouragement for doing anything came from my that uncle and my
And your
dad
father?
and my
Acha,
father.
mashallah, mashallah.
Yeah,
So,
that's what.
was your father in the military? Is that why you have
Yeah,
army schools?
yeah,
Acha,
yeah.
Mm.
He
ठीक
was
ठीक.
in army. Yeah, he was in army. We
Mm.
were always moving around from one city to another. How
Ah,
life
yeah,
is. But for
right.
me, there wasn't much moving when I got to that state because I'm the youngest. So mostly my time was in Lahore.
Right, 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 right. Samira?
Yeah. बस यही पूछ रहे थे अपना आपका काफी एक्सपीरियंस सब चीजों में है तो इट्स रियली लाइक कमेंडेबल काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि इतना बड़ा बाकी ये बहुत बड़ा काम है एक बच्चे को उसके जो अर्ली एजेस हैं उसमें ही अगर उसको सही अपब्रिंगिंग उसकी हो जाती है एंड आफ्टर द मम इट्स द टीचर यही हम लोगों ने पाकिस्तान में सुना है और यहाँ भी ऐसा ही है सो आई थिंक ये बहुत अच्छी चीज है और हम लोगों को जैसे हमारी कंट्रीज है इधर तो चलो है ही है आपके यूके में कनाडा अमेरिका में लेकिन जैसे हमारी जैसे हम पहले बात कर रहे थे कि बच्चों को वो अच्छी जो उनकी अपब्रिंगिंग काइंड ऑफ इसी तरह से होगी कि घर से जो वो दूर है तो वो क्या सीख के घर में आ रहे हैं सो दे आर लर्निंग मोर स्किल्स काइंड ऑफ कैसे उठना बैठना है हाउ टू पुट योर कप डाउन प्लेट डाउन कैसे आपको टेबल पे बैठना है सो दीज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स जो घर में हम माएँ भी नहीं कर सकती वी डोंट हैव दैट मच टाइम कोई आ गया खाना बना रहे हैं कुछ कर रहे हैं सो काइंड ऑफ वो उनका जो स्कूल है ना वो उनका प्रॉपर वो अपब्रिंगिंग वाला स्कूल है जिधर आपके पास हो जाते हैं एंड इट्स रियली गुड और हम विश करते हैं कि सारे लोगों को आपको भी देख के फॉलो करना चाहिए एंड दिस प्रोग्राम शुड बी फॉलोड लाइक आई थिंक बहुत ज्यादा क्यों सादिया क्योंकि ये
हाँ
बहुत
हाँ बिल्कुल
हाँ
बिल्कुल
और जो
अच्छा
शादिया ने जैसे अपना बताया है अपना बचपन से लेके ये वो भी काफी मोटिवेशनल काइंड ऑफ थिंग है कि अपने बच्चों के साथ और अपने सारे सिस्टम के साथ भी यहाँ तक पहुंची हैं और अभी वो इतने माशाल्लाह एक एंटरप्रेन्योर भी है एक किस्म की एंड शी इज डूइंग एवरीथिंग टू कितने माशाल्लाह बच्चे अभी इतने साल हो गए हैं तो वो जब बच्चे स्कूल वगैरह में जाते होंगे आगे सम टाइम यू वुड सी देम सो दे वुड से ओ मैडम ये कितना अच्छा लगता
बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है जी. We still get
बिल्कुल
cards from
बिल्कुल
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So आप अपना अभी इस प्रोग्राम के लाते like what message you would give us or our viewers कुछ आप बोलना चाहेंगी just for the parents or like anybody in any way you would like.
I don't messages दिन में कई दफा जहन में आती हैं चीजें लोगों को बताने के लिए, बट इस तरह फॉर्मली कभी नहीं सोचा बैठ के कि क्या क्या जो है ना what message should be conveyed to the parents. I think I'm not wise enough to advise anybody, to tell you honestly. I don't think I am wise enough to advise anybody, but there's one thing that I always say to my kids and to the staff and to all the people that I interact with and to the children in my care and otherwise is that if you want to get anywhere in life, you gotta have what you're doing, you gotta have passion for that. It's easy said than done. I understand that because not everybody has the same kind of environment and facilities or opportunities. It's not easy. It's easy said than done. I understand that, but try to your best that at least you can get into something that you really like to do, and that's actually a big part in our Pakistani culture is that our kids are not allowed to choose what they want to be.
Very true.
They either have to choose something that will give them money, that will make them
Yes.
rich.
डॉक्टर
They're
नहीं
not
बनना
allowed to
बेटा,
do
डॉक्टर
something that,
बनना.
हाँ, डॉक्टर बनना है, या जो आजकल काफी ज्यादा फीस हो गई है जो मनी मेकिंग है, but they're not allowed to do things that they want to do. And if we are not allowing our children to do things that they want to do, that what happens is that they don't do it right. They don't do it with the same passion. They only do it for the sake of, okay, I want to go to the office, I have to sign this paper, get my check of whatever amount for my salary and come home. There's no passion, and then they don't excel in it, and they don't come out with new ideas for it. So that's when they become stagnant, and they just live their lives, and then that reflects in everywhere. Then that reflects in their marital life, then that reflects in their
Absolutely.
dealings with, I mean,
Absolutely.
so if they're allowed to, let's say, for example, if somebody wants to be, I don't know, there's so many, I don't know, I don't want to say any name, but if somebody wants to do something different, let them do that different thing, because
Yes.
you never know where that person is going to go. So that's my advice to our parents everywhere. If they understand this, that let your child be, let them be. The only thing that you teach them is the values and the respect, that they got to respect who they're dealing with in their daily lives. And the rest, just let them be, just follow the child. This is one of the biggest Montessori philosophy, which is follow the child. So basically, you need to follow your child to see where they are at. I'll just finish this up with one example from my own daughter's Montessori teacher back in Lahore. She was an amazing teacher. When we were moving to, when we were pulling Shazia out of the school Montessori because we were moving to Canada, the teacher came up to me and she goes, "You have to put your daughter in an art related school or subject or something." And I said, "Why?" She says, "Oh, she's very artistic. You don't know that?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's artistic, but okay." And look what she ended up being, an architect.
An architect,
if we had
amazing.
stopped her being something, okay, no, Shanza, you got to do this, this is what you got. It would not have been right. She chose what she wanted to be, and she's happy.
Right.
And from that, and now I remember that teacher's, what she said to me, and I'm like, wow, she understood. She got that at that time, and she was only 2.5. So just be with your child. Just let them see what their interest is, and then go from there. And they'll be fine. Trust me, they'll be fine.
Makes complete sense, right, Sameera?
Yeah.
बिल्कुल. Acha, before we let you go, because I know, first of all, we need to tell the audience that Shazia is actually in her office right now, and this is a school day. And the kids were having a Thanksgiving dinner, and so we have grabbed Shazia to come and join us in between. So I'm sure she has lots of important things to do as well. Shazia, one quick question, which is, what is your biggest achievement?
My biggest achievement is what I'm doing, I think. Yeah.
The school and this, school. Right.
And raising 2 wonderful children.
Of course.
Yeah.
And your future plans?
My future plans. Good question. My future plans is to be able to stay walking on my 2 legs. And not be dependent on anybody.
Inshallah.
And that's about it. And other than that, I hope my future, is good. Is good. And how my present is. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah, I know what you want me to say, Saadia.
You can say it.
Yeah, I can say it. Okay. Chicken and goats. I love that. To have chicken, I can go out and get an egg, fry it, and eat it.
Shazia wants like a farm, and she's moving towards that. So that's very important too. In terms of being happy and for mindfulness, this is what makes you happy. This is what relaxes you, along with what you're doing for all these children. Jo abhi Sameera keh rahi thi, it's an amazing thing that you're doing, because you are giving yourself to these kids. They are going to carry you for the rest of their lives. So jab aap unko jo kuch de rahe ho, wo you're passing it on. And only a teacher and an educator can do this to the extent that you're doing. So therefore, we are highly impressed, and we are wishing you all the best and more
Thank you.
success in life. And inshallah, I'm hoping, क्योंकि समीरा भी इसलिए बार-बार ये कह रही थी कि somebody will involve you, or we'll figure out something by which you can teach some people in Pakistan, you can inspire them, you can also, somehow positively affect the sort of Montessori education that's being imparted here. So, क्या ख्याल है समीरा? Right?
हाँ बिल्कुल ऐसी बात है, ऐसी है।
हाँ, हाँ।
शादिया को उधर कर लेके जाएंगे।
हाँ,
चाहे
we'll
Zoom
be
पे
in
लेके
touch.
जाए, Zoom पे लेके जाएंगे।
जिधर किस्मत होगी जी, जिधर we'll see.
ठीक है।
No, but देखो, this जो views हैं, ideas हैं, watching her program, and then like they would be having their school website as well. So we can share that as well on our program. So
Yes,
people
we're
who
sharing
want to
that.
see your work and everything, and maybe from your own Canada as well, people can watch over. So website पे जाके देख सकते हैं. So we can pass that link on our program now. तो उससे भी ये है कि हम बता सकते हैं कि देखिए जी ये शादियां हैं, ये कर रही हैं।
बिल्कुल,
Very kind of you, very kind of
Very
you.
nice talking to you, very nice.
It was
और
lovely talking to you.
I must say one thing कि बच्चों के साथ वो ही काम कर सकता है जो खुद lively है and got a smiley, fresh face. And mashallah, you have that. And I think I'm sure कि बच्चे आपको they would be like after you, madam miss करते होंगे पीछे। क्योंकि ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। Like as we have, मुझे अभी भी अपने कॉन्वेंट की नर्सरी की सिस्टर जोसेफ अभी भी याद है। How she would like be with us. So जब वो आपके सारी बाकी सादिया की बात आपके साथ सारी लाइफ कैरी करती है, वो जो आप अपने उन बच्चों को सिखाते हैं। So it's a very good thing. और आपके लिए दुआ करते हैं कि आप हमेशा ऐसे ही रहें, हंसती मुस्कुराती और फ्लरिश करें, और आपकी मॉन्टेसरीज बने एवरीवेयर।
And Shazia, this is not the end because ये एक छोटा सा शो है, इसका टाइम हम लिमिट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि we have a tendency to ramble, both of us, Sameera and me.
So we all do.
So you have to come back. We're going to invite you again, and we'll talk with you again about all the other stuff that you're doing, and get your insights, and I hope you'll find the time to come and join us.
Thank you very much, Saadia. Thank you, Sameera. It was a pleasure being here today, and
it was a pleasure.
Sheer delight, honestly. It was so nice talking to you guys. And we'll stay in touch, and all the best.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.
This was very nice, mashallah.
Very nice.
Or she's doing a very wonderful kind of job, really.
Wonderful.
I must say. Or I think people should learn from her experiences, कैसे she's made up to this point. तो सबको करना चाहिए और learn करना चाहिए. बेशक पाकिस्तान में हमारे पैसे भी चार्ज करें, but they're not giving what they should be giving. So अगर आप पैसे ले रहे हैं, so better learn the ways how people are doing things. So maybe ये हमारे प्रोग्राम देख के शायद किसी को अच्छा लगे, कोई किसी के दिल में एक बात अच्छी चली जाए, थोड़ा चेंज हो जाए, क्या ख्याल?
हाँ बिल्कुल। देख, दो चीजें जो अच्छी हैं ना शाजिया में, वो है कि पैशन तो है, वो तो नजर आ रहा है फॉर टीचिंग एंड फॉर दीज लिटिल चिल्ड्रन जिनकी वो लाइव्स इंप्रूव कर रही हैं, और उसके साथ इंटेग्रिटी है, ऑनेस्टी है एक। तो ये दो चीजें, आप एजुकेटर नहीं बन सकते इन दो चीजों के बगैर। अगर ये दो चीजें नहीं है तो फिर ऑल यू आर इज अ बिजनेसमैन और अ बिजनेस वूमन। तो वो आप प्लीज कोई और काम करें। क्या ख्याल है समीरा? आप प्लीज स्कूल्स ना खोलें, आप किसी और तरह पैसे बना लें, बहुत सारी और बिजनेसेस हैं, राइट?
बिल्कुल। देखो ना, आप एक बिल्डिंग बना रहे हो, आर्किटेक्ट अगर सही नहीं रखोगे तो बिल्डिंग तो गिरी जाएगी थोड़ी देर बाद। तो मेन तो मॉन्टेसरी से, या मॉन्टेसरी है, प्री स्कूल है, नर्सरी है, दे आर योर पिलर्स, फर्स्ट पिलर फॉर योर होल फ्यूचर। तो अगर कोई हम सही बिल्डिंग करेंगे तो फिर बाकी चीजें पढ़ के तो क्या मिलना है? और
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
बहुत अच्छा
आई
आज का
थिंक,
प्रोग्राम।
हाँ, आई थिंक शी इज मेकिंग अ ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट.
हाँ,
Again, like, you know, she's being humble, and that is also the mark of a true educator, in my
हम्म,
opinion. क्योंकि
हम्म,
आप सोचो कि कितना मुश्किल है. आप भी इमिग्रेंट थे, मैं भी इमिग्रेंट थी. यू गो
हम्म,
टू अ डिफरेंट कंट्री, और वेस्ट
हाँ,
इतना इजी और वेलकमिंग नहीं है फॉर पाकिस्तानीज. तो
नो,
उसमें, एंड स्पेशली नॉट सो फॉर वुमेन. हालांकि कहा जाता है कि औरतों के लिए तो सब कुछ खुला है वहां पे, लेकिन बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. अ वुमन हैज टू बी 100 times better than a man to get the same position as in a job.
ट्रू,
We know that. तो
या,
look at her कि इन्होंने पहले वहां पढ़ाया है, फिर इन्होंने जाके you know, when she thought she was ready, अपना स्कूल खोला है, एक स्कूल खोला है, फिर एक और स्कूल खोला है. And she's doing so well, mashallah, and the kids are doing so well. And
हाँ,
we are going to show you pictures. वो आपने देखी हैं, उसमें आप देखें कि कितने वो अच्छा एक एटमोसफियर है, जिस तरह एक मॉन्टेसरी को होना चाहिए वो है. एंड द रीजन इट्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट, समीरा, इज बिकॉज ये आपके फॉर्मेटिव ईयर्स होते हैं. अगर इनमें आपकी कोई स्कूलिंग या प्री स्कूलिंग अच्छी नहीं होगी, और क्योंकि घर पे तो वो एक्सपीरियंसेस नहीं हो सकते जो इस तरह एक
नो,
स्ट्रक्चर्ड एनवायरनमेंट में मिलते हैं.
हाँ,
तो देन यू नो, दीज आर द प्रॉब्लम्स जो कि पेरेंट्स देखते नहीं है, या उनको समझ नहीं आती कि कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है ये टाइम. तो वो सारी चीजें बाद में आपको इन देयर टीनेज ईयर्स नजर आती हैं, इन देयर एडल्ट ईयर्स नजर आती हैं. And I know we keep coming back to the same thing, but then you have you know, all these people with pathological psychological illnesses, जो कि you get somebody like Noor Muqaddam's murderer. So you know, ये चीजें सबको सोचने की जरूरत है. क्या ख्याल है आपका?
बिल्कुल सही है, ऐसे ही है, ऐसी बात है।
हम्म.
तो बिल्कुल। तो और आप नेक्स्ट जो हमारे इंशाल्लाह ये इन्हीं टॉपिक्स पे कोशिश करेंगे, और अभी
बिल्कुल
जो है ताकि स्कूलिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हैं, एजुकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्पेशली दीज डेज, जबकि लोग सिर्फ मनी मेकिंग कर रहे हैं, एजुकेशन वाइज नहीं सोच रहे हैं. तो इन चीजों को थोड़ा हाईलाइट, बेशक वही मैं कह रही हूँ, एंड ऑफ द टाइम पैसे तो सब देते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा अच्छी उसकी अपब्रिंगिंग हो, अच्छी पढ़ाई करे,
बिल्कुल
सब कुछ करे.
बिल्कुल.
बट अगर पैसे के बावजूद आपका बच्चा कुछ सीख के नहीं आ रहा, तो दैट्स अ शेम फॉर द इंस्टीट्यूशन रहेगी. पेरेंट्स के लिए तो नहीं, वो तो बेचारे स्ट्रगल करके किस तरह करके कर रहे हैं. तो फिर वो तो इंस्टीट्यूशन की शेम हो रहा है उसके लिए कि भाई वो क्या उनको पढ़ा के क्या करके भेज रहे हैं. तो
बिल्कुल सही.
ये है कि बोथ वेज चीजें काम करती हैं. और इन अ वे ये है कि जो हमारी आज की जो यंग मम्स हैं, या जैसे पाकिस्तान में भी इधर भी है, उनके लिए भी एक ये काइंड ऑफ स्कूलिंग ही है कि बच्चे को सुबह उठना है, छोड़ के आना है, तैयार करना है, लेके आना है, ये उनकी टाइमिंग्स हैं. तो क्योंकि काफी लोग इन चीजों को नहीं फॉलो करते, तो काइंड ऑफ
बिल्कुल.
ये भी एक बड़ा अच्छा पॉइंट है कि यू आर ट्रेनिंग द मम एज वेल विद द किड.
एब्सोल्युटली, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. तो इस तरह के हम आपके पास और भी बहुत सारे गेस्ट लाएंगे, और शाजिया को भी वापस इनवाइट करेंगे, बिकॉज ये बहुत छोटा टाइम है फॉर एनीबडी टू रियली, यू नो, शेयर ऑल देयर एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड, यू नो, चैलेंजेस, फॉर एग्जांपल, जो कि कोई फेस करता है. सो दिस वाज अ लॉट ऑफ फन and also very informational, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Before we leave, I just wanted to ask you, Sameera, कि आपके यूके से ही मैंने एक्चुअली बीबीसी से ये न्यूज़ देखी थी, औरों ने भी रिपोर्ट की होगी कि ये जो कार्टून्स थे जो रसूल पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के खिलाफ बनाए गए थे, उसमें जो एक कार्टूनिस्ट है उसका मैंने पढ़ा था कि वो ही रिसेंटली डायड इन अ वेरी फ्रीकी एक्सीडेंट. वो आपने सुना है?
मैंने न्यूज देखी थी कि ही हैड एन एक्सीडेंट और समथिंग.
राइट राइट राइट. तो इट्स अब रबियुल अव्वल शुरू हो रहा है, तो आई जस्ट थॉट कि, यू नो, मैं आपसे जरूर ये मेंशन करूंगी कि ये एक बड़ी एक अजीब सी बात है जो हुई है. राइट, कह रहे हैं बहुत फ्रीकी एक्सीडेंट था, लाइक बिल्कुल अनएक्सपेक्टेड.
बिल्कुल, रबीउल अव्वल का महीना शुरू हो रहा है, सब मुसलमानों के लिए बहुत मुबारक हो साबित, और
सबको
अल्लाह
मुबारक
सबकी
हो.
मुश्किलें आसान करें. और जो भी
आमीन.
इस्लाम के खिलाफ या मुसलमानों के खिलाफ कोई बुरा सोचता है, तो उनको अल्लाह हिदायत दे, हम यही कह सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल
और हम
बिल्कुल
किसी के
बिल्कुल.
लिए बुरा नहीं
आमीन.
सोच सकते.
नहीं
सब तो
नहीं.
हम लोग के मैनकाइंड है, और अल्लाह ने ही सब बनाए हैं. तो ये रिलीजन, रंग, नस्ल, सब ये कुछ तो हम लोगों ने पाए हैं,
बिल्कुल
लेकिन
सही.
है तो सारे ह्यूमन बीइंग हैं अगर उस तरह
बिल्कुल.
देखें. तो दूसरे को हम देखें और अपने जो फेथ है उनको, अपने बिलीफ्स जो है उनको हम लोग उनकी क्या कहते हैं रिस्पेक्ट करें, एक दूसरे की
बिल्कुल।
रिस्पेक्ट करें. दैट्स व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड डेली. क्योंकि आजकल के
बिल्कुल
दौर में जो कुछ हो रहा है, भागम दौड़ जंग ये वो सारा कुछ, तो यही मेन चाहिए कि हम एक दूसरे की रिस्पेक्ट करें, एक दूसरे को समझें, और वही
बिल्कुल
सबसे बड़ी बात है.
बिल्कुल
तो
बिल्कुल
बहुत
बिल्कुल।
अच्छा आपने किया हाँ जी. और आपको भी रबीउल अव्वल बहुत मुबारक हो, सबको बहुत मुबारक हो. और इंशाल्लाह उस पे भी हम छोटा सा एक प्रोग्राम करेंगे
जरूर।
सादिया मीरा स्टाइल में. तो
हाँ ऑलवेज हमारा हमारा स्टाइल हमारा अपना है, वो नहीं हम छोड़
वो
सकते।
वो
हाँ
ट्रेडमार्क अपना ही है. हाँ,
and
सही. तो
with that message of peace to everybody, with the hadayat ke please all of us should try to get along with each other and not have these fights and conflicts and differences किसी भी faith को लेके. तो अब मैं और समीरा आपको खुदाफिज कहते हैं और जान.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. अल्लाह हाफिज.
थैंक यू.
थैंक यू
अल्लाह
सादिया.
हाफिज.